Now then, hello there. So I'm gonna need one of them catchy taglines like, what is up, YouTube?
What is up, YouTube?
So I need to think of a good one. I might just do hello there, because for those of you that get the reference, you are the real ones.
Hello there.
So I've been thinking about what the best way to do this video is, whether I want to do some fancy edit or whether I want to do a day in the life video, and I decided I might as well just do a raw video where I am just talking to the camera. I might overlay some images here and there, but basically I just want you to hear it from the horse's mouth or the WNBF pro's mouth. So what I'm going to do is a bit of a prep roundup, if you may. And what I'll do is I'll break it down into a few different sections just so I'm not waffling for 20 minutes. I probably will anyway.
What are they, vegetables or fruit? And what does that make? Ketchup.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about why I did the prep to start off with, what were my motivations, and then I'll talk about how the prep went as a whole in terms of what went well and what were the main challenges during the prep. And then I'll obviously talk about the shows and how they went as well. And then just give a bit of a wrap up of the prep as a whole and whether I achieved what I wanted to achieve. And then we'll go on to the next steps in terms of what the plan is going forward. So strap in and we'll get right into it. So we'll start off with the why. So why did I enter this prep in the first place?
Why, Triple H? You son of a bitch! Why? Tell me why!
So, for those of you that follow me on Instagram, it wasn't initially meant to be a prep this year. The goal was to actually compete in 2025. And the main reason behind that was, well, one, I feel like I needed the time to be more competitive. And also I just had a few things going on with life that meant it would be quite difficult to compete this year. So I had absolutely no intentions whatsoever on competing this year. However, certain circumstances of my life changed, which meant that it led to it being more conducive to being able to do the prep. So what me and AJ initially did, AJ is my coach by the way, Senor Morris, we entered into a bit of a mini diet. The aim still wasn't to prep this year. It was just to remove a bit of body fat and see where I was at. If I felt like I was in a good position, then we would attack the prep. So that's what we did. I think it was about 9 or 10 weeks initially. And then he had a look at me. He had a look at me at the hashtag Mecca, Ultraflex Rotherham. And then we decided, you know what, we're going to give it a go. We're going to just see how we do during this year. And we're going to go for a prep. And then in terms of the plan of action then, obviously it was a case of selecting the shows. I knew that my goal was to compete with the WNBF because I feel like that is the gold standard of natural bodybuilding and it's just the path that I wanted to pursue.
Sorry, not sorry. It's time for someone to say it like it is.
So I knew I was going to do the WNBF UK Supernatural show, but the question was I going to do another one as well? And one show that I'd been eyeing up was the WNBF UAE, so that was in Dubai. And everything about that show, the production, the athletes and the location, it just looked really cool and it felt like it was too good of an opportunity not to do. So we decided to go for that show as the first one. I did decide to be a little bit sneaky. I kept it on the lowdown on social media and didn't tell people about it. But the plan was to do that, so go full on Dorian shadow mode, as you may. So I think that was about 13 to 14 weeks between that point and that show, so we cracked on with the prep. For the most part, it was like pretty smooth sailing in terms of the fat loss. However, we did encounter a series of challenges. So the main ones being health related. So they come into a few different categories. The first one being digestive issues. So what I found was I was getting quite sick to the point where I was on the verge of throwing up on numerous occasions. And we were trying to figure out, okay, is this a bad reaction to food? Is it one certain food source or is it something else? And what we found is there were a few different food choices which triggered it. So the first was chicken, which was, I was absolutely gutted about that because chicken is my favorite food. So I removed that, put in cod instead. The next food source was cream of rice. So immediately bin that. And then the next food source was the ESN designer rice pudding, which I'm also gutted about because I absolutely love that as well. So when we binned them off, my digestion immediately improved. So that was that, for the most part rectified. I had a few issues here and there afterwards, but for the most part not too bad. The next health related issue were just symptoms of dizziness and extreme low energy for long periods. And I know in a prep, you will have low energy. It's just part of it. Obviously, when you're on a calorie deficit and your body's that lean, you are going to be tired and fatigued at some point. So I was fully expecting that, no issues whatsoever. But I had periods about 6 weeks out that I just felt completely trashed all day, every single day. And I knew that just like wasn't normal for me. So I knew something was up. And it got to the point where I actually fainted once. So yeah, just completely blacked out.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
So yeah, something was up there. We kind of just soldiered through it. So we made some nutritional adjustments, which did help for sure. Put me in a little bit less of a deficit, but helped with the energy. So we cracked on with the next few weeks. Everything was going really well. And then what we noticed is towards the peak week itself, my body was being a little bit unpredictable in terms of the look and the weight, which was a little bit concerning. I remember at the beginning of that first peak week, I was a lot heavier than what I should have been. And the weight just wasn't coming off, and I was just holding a massive like film of water over my midsection. And that stemmed into the flight itself. So with the Dubai flight, everything was going okay. The flight itself was fine, but we just feel like the look going into Dubai was just not the best for the first day or two. But once we were there, we did wash off some fatigue, and we actually introduced a supplement called Peak Max as well, which is a natural diuretic. Now, I don't know if it was the stress or whether it was the Peak Max, but my body just flushed out everything from that point to the point where I was getting significantly tighter day on day. So that led to me being a lot more confident in terms of the look. On the show day itself, woke up a little bit flat, but very, very tight. The lightest I was in pretty much in the whole prep. I think I was like 162 pounds. So that's very light for me. I was very confident. And as you can see, I'll link the show day video somewhere. That went very well. So I'm not going to explain everything that happened there. But in a nutshell, I won my pro card. So that was excellent, excellent news there. So just to summarize, like, how that felt, that moment of winning the pro card, it's like, it's the best. It's fantastic.
He's the best. It's fantastic.
But in all seriousness, it was absolutely incredible. It was like a moment I've been dreaming about for a very, very long time now. I've been competing and having aspirations to compete for pretty much 6 years, and it's all been leading up to that moment. So as you can imagine, it was just a combination of relief, ecstasy, disbelief, everything really. So you can see that captured, and I'm really glad I managed to capture that on video, and it really, I feel like, encapsulated everything that I felt at the time, which was wicked. So everything was absolutely fantastic with the Dubai trip, had no complaints whatsoever. On another thing with the health side of things as well is the day after, so me and a few of the other pros did like a little bit of a yacht cruise, which was really cool. I actually fainted on the yacht, so I haven't really put this out there, but yeah, so another instance of my health not being the best. And that leads us then on to the prep for the pro debut, which was Supernatural. So that was, yeah, massively plagued with numerous issues. So I got actually pretty ill coming back from Dubai. And to be fair, like, that's normal. I think when you're on prep and you're flying, it is normal to catch a few things. But what we found was I was getting ill and it just wasn't getting better. In fact, it was getting worse leading into the peak week to the point where I actually lost my voice. So that was pretty worrying because it was pretty hard to speak to people. And as a posing coach, it is not ideal when you can't speak. So yeah, not the best. And following that as well, my luck just was not good. Not good at all. It was very, very unpredictable. Holding water. The next day I'd be super flat and it was an absolute nightmare to peak me. So that wasn't ideal. So as I said, we gave it a go. We gave the peak week a go. We went into the show. And from the UK video, you can see how that went. Obviously not as glamorous and successful as the Dubai show, but as a whole, I really did enjoy myself. And it was a wicked experience, man. A wicked experience to be able to compete against these top athletes, these top pros, and something I'll never forget. And as I said, I learned a lot from it in terms of obviously maybe me assessing my health because I know it was in a really, really bad spot with what we turned out to be tonsillitis in the end, and assessing what lifestyle factors are contributing towards that, which I'll get towards in a bit. And then also with regards to the show itself, learning about what I need to improve on. So yes, I was off in terms of my physique was pretty watery. It was full, but watery, so that kind of ruined my chances there. But aside from that, those guys were extremely muscular and shredded as well. So in order to be more competitive at that pro level, the simple fact is I'm going to need more muscle. I'm going to need a lot more muscle, which is one, going to make me look bigger and more filled out, especially in my pecs. But also, it's going to allow me to dig for that extra level of condition as well, which will really, I feel like, help my chances and help with my future aspirations, which I will speak to you about in a bit. So that was the show. And then after that, so it was very, very rough. Very, very rough after that. So I thought, you know what? I eat some food, I'll be okay. But it just wasn't the case. I was getting worse. My illness was actually getting worse in the weeks after the show, which was pretty grim. So I tried to train, but it got to the point where it just wasn't productive anymore. So we had to sack off the gym for a while. And for those people who've prepped and put on body weight afterwards, you know how it is where you quickly lose the condition and it isn't nice to look at. And as you can imagine, when you can't train as well, your physique just completely regresses. And that was quite hard for me to deal with mentally, just because you're so attached to what you look like over a period of months, and to see that completely obliterate and vanish in the space of a few days, it's not the best. So it's one of them where you've got to keep yourself busy and set yourself new goals. So one thing I was just massively honing in on the posing and the business aspect of it as well. Just to, as I said, keep my mind occupied and set myself new goals as well. So obviously got put on a set of antibiotics after the show to deal with the tonsillitis. Definitely helped for sure, but it was just a very, very slow recovery. And to be fair, the energy levels are still up and down. Even though I've recovered from the illness, I just feel, yeah, not like myself. So that leads us now on to the next plans. So the immediate plans are just to get healthy.
Boring!
So what I've done is I've booked in to get my bloods taken. So that will be pretty much in a week's time. So that will be with Atlas Labs. So that's going to be interesting, to say the least, how effed I am, for lack of a better term. So yeah, so we'll see how in the bin my test is, as I imagine it is, and then hopefully get some good steps that I can implement to just get healthy again and get into a productive place to start my off season. So that leads us on to what my goals are going forward. So with regards to the off season, the aim is to just, improve my muscularity. The main two areas which we want to improve are my pecs and my abs. So for men's physique, obviously you want a nice big full chest, and you obviously want tight conditioned abs as well. And those are two areas which I feel like I massively need to improve on. So my training is going to be catered massively towards that. So in terms of my split, we've got a chest focused push day on the Monday. we have a density day or posterior day on the Tuesday, rest day on the Wednesday, push on the Thursday, also chest focused, pull on the Friday, and legs on the Saturday, and then a rest day on the Sunday. So as you can see, massively catered towards that top line and especially the chest. And then the abs as well. So with regards to the ab training, I'm basically training every other day. And what I'll do is I'll alternate between leg raises and cable crunches just to get every sort of region of the abs, I suppose. In terms of cardio, we are keeping it in. So we're going to do twice a week on rest days just to help with the insulin sensitivity, but also keep my fitness up, and it'll also help with high rep sets and keep my body composition in a good spot as well. So for me, it's a bit of a no-brainer really, is the cardio in the off season, and I definitely feel like it prolongs the amount of time that you can spend in your off season. So don't get lazy with it. In terms of the nutrition side of things then, so we're currently at 370 carb, 220 protein and 55 fat on a training day, and on a rest day it's 220 protein, 55 fat once again, but 330 carb on a rest day. So not a massive amount of difference between the two. I feel like that's personally what works well for me. Some people I know have a massive difference in carb intake between the training and rest days, but I've never felt like I've needed it, to be fair. So that is the plan with the nutrition side of things. So that covers the bodybuilding side of things. Now for the interesting stuff going on with the posing. So there are lots of very, very interesting stuff planned and in the pipeline. So we have got a posing seminar planned. The details are not yet confirmed, but it will be in February of 2025. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And it is most likely going to be somewhere down south. So for those people who couldn't make it to the last one, keep your eyes peeled because it's going to be absolutely wicked. Other than that, obviously we're going to be continuing to level up the service with the posing coaching itself. I want to improve my own knowledge, how I teach people, how I work with people, and ultimately, right, I'm putting it out there, I want to be the #1 men's physique posing coach in the UK. I want to be the go-to guy.
I'm the guy.
And I do absolutely believe that's possible. So we're going to continue to ramp up what we're doing. We've got quite a few cool collaborations coming with different brands, different people. So this is going to be super, super exciting to see. And on a personal front as well. So in terms of the YouTube side of things, keep your eyes peeled because it's going to be absolutely wicked with quite a few wicked collabs lined up. So the first one is going to be with Mr. Cams, aka the PCA Reels guy, and that's going to be wicked. So we're going to train at EP, we're going to probably binge on chicken, and we're going to go to an anime cafe. So for those of you into anime, keep your eyes peeled on that. And we've got quite a few other cool little collabs lined up with maybe some other WNBF pros as well. So keep your eyes peeled for them. So on a personal front, other than the posing side of things, I want to enjoy life a bit more as well. Yes, I want to work hard and I absolutely love working hard, but I don't want to do that at a detriment of my enjoyment of life and my health as well. So I've already got a couple of wicked holidays lined up. So I'm going to Tokyo with my brother. So that's going to be wicked because he actually lives in Australia, so I don't really see him that much. So that's going to be absolutely unreal. As you know, I'm a massive anime freak, as you can tell by the Luffy t-shirt. And other than that, we're going to be going skiing in March as well. So that's going to be wicked. Probably won't vlog the skiing because I don't want to destroy my camera, but I will probably vlog the Tokyo trip because that'll be pretty cool. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And I think that pretty much wraps up everything in terms of what happened with the prep, how I felt about it, lessons learned. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let me know basically what you want to see in terms of content, whether you want it to be training content, posing content, collabs, eating challenges. Well, maybe not eating challenges as AJ will not be a happy coach, but we'll see if we do one on the slide. So I shall see you all later.